Welcome to Exploring the Ozarks, where we tell the history and stories of locations, organizations, and people from the area. Here's Matt.
There it is. I always love the cheers. Thank you, David Carr, with Creative Endeavors and Studio One.
And all the things. Yeah.
And all the things that we're about to mention. So welcome, everybody, to Exploring the Ozarks. We're very happy to have you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. We are here today at Springfield One Studios for this podcast.
Springfield Studio One.
Springfield Studio One? What did I
on,
just
Matt.
say?
Springfield One Studios.
Springfield One Studio.
It's all those right words, just in the wrong order.
Am I new or something? Anyways.
It's these words that keep getting blurrier.
Words are hard. I am nervous, but we are here at Springfield Studio One.
There we go.
For this podcast. Check them out if you need to record your own podcast. It's such a cool room. But then there's also a stage area with an area with a crowd that you could bring in and everything too.
Yeah. Springfield Improv already performs there every second Saturday.
That's huge.
Yeah.
A&E did some stuff here too. We keep mentioning because David just never wants to talk about it. So.
I can't. It's a contract. It's a contract.
Well,
Whoops. Good job, Matt.
Don't worry about that NDA that was signed.
Well, I can say, okay.
It's only a lawsuit. It's only a lawsuit. It's
I just can't say what the episode was about.
There we go.
Okay.
So if you need to come out here and really anything that you want to record or put on any type of recording at all, just come on here. If you have a band, you can come play on the stage. You can bring your friends. You can come hang out. You can rent the space.
More podcasting. I just actually got a huge video or a screen, so it's 15 foot by 12 foot tall. Fills onto areas so you can do movie screenings or whatever you want to do here.
I love that. That's new. That's new. I love that.
New. I keep improving stuff all the time. So.
That's super cool. Yeah. So awesome. It's like a mini Moxie almost. So
I wouldn't try to compete with that.
No.
This is more for
complimentary.
I'm more about building up the local video scene, of course. So it's like if you've made a video or you have anything like that, please. Oh, look at that. Look, it changed.
Yeah, now you get your screensaver on. That's okay. Get with it.
See, I'll give this to our Jake. Come make an appearance.
This is our behind the scenes, Jake. Yeah. Well, you saw his hand, maybe.
He'll hit the button every once in a while.
That's it.
Oh, no, look. No. Okay, Jake. Turn it off. Just turn it off.
This is new.
I'm going to work on that, everybody.
Yeah, that's okay. But don't.
It's funny, too, because Matt told me before the show, he's like, let's not talk too long at the beginning. I'm like,
it happens.
But people love the banter.
Yep. They do. And so if you do want to film anything, this is the place to be, Springfield Studio One.
Because we're fun.
And we are. And we try to be as light as possible.
We're doing Focus on the Five here, and we're doing a whole bunch of stuff here.
Oh, my gosh. We've got so many things going on right now. It's not even funny.
It's just getting busier and busier. So come on down today to get in before we fill up.
Sunday. But find us on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and then all of the podcasting sites like Spotify, iTunes, anywhere you can find a podcast. This is on it, which my friends all think is very, very awesome. My kids love it.
You're a big star to them.
Yeah.
They said it's blowing up, so I hope that's true.
Yeah. That's awesome.
We should do an episode where we blow things up.
Ooh.
Blowing up in the Ozarks.
That'd be fun.
Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we can be like, we're gonna blow stuff up.
Yes, that would be fun.
Rolla, the insurance person.
Yeah.
The insurance person approved it.
She's like,
we're good. So Rolla actually has a demolitions course. Like you can learn how to become a certified demolition expert through Rolla.
Oh man!
So we could work.
Maybe we should go outside to blow stuff up.
Yeah, probably.
Not inside.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do it in miniature. Like on the table, like a miniature something and just blow it.
That wouldn't be very.
Like in slow motion.
We'll do an animation. We'll do like a claymation thing.
Oh, there we go. Now we're going on a rabbit trail. And we do have our lovely guest today, Miss Jess Bowman.
Wait, Patreon
from Bowman Insurance Group. And now I'm going to let you talk about Patreon. I know she's over here laughing and they hear a voice, so I want to make sure you get tied to it.
Hi.
But Jess, thank you for being here.
So make sure whoever's editing this, show Jess right now.
Yeah.
Maybe do a
let her wave, her princess wave and all that. Now, David, hit him with some Patreon talk.
I'll be quick because I do keep on distracting us.
We love Patreon.
Patreon is amazing because if you as an individual want to support us, $5, $10, $25 a month,
1,000,
which goes, please, but it really goes a long way when we have when you have a lot of people supporting you through Patreon, it starts helping to fund a lot of things. So go to our Patreon page. There's a link here on the video below, and it would mean a lot to us if you could go and do that because it'll help us as we go out and gather more stories of the Ozarks and get to meet more cool people like Jess.
Yay.
And we've had, a whole bunch of other people on here like Bob Dixon and We had Wayne before he passed.
Wayne Rader
from
with Pappy's.
and
Bob Dixon was a big deal. He's been a politician a long time.
At Chad Bay, we had Amanda Honez. She was amazing.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and Amanda. She
the whole entire.
Our last person that we had a really good reaction from. She was a good friend of mine, and she floated on the Mississippi River all the way down to the Missouri River. Missouri River, Mississippi River down to the Gulf of Mexico by herself with her dog.
That's amazing.
6-month trip.
Yeah, yep. And then I found out afterwards she's like a bronze medal recipient from Iraq War and stuff like that, but she didn't even talk about that. So.
You would think 40 minutes for a podcast would be enough. It really isn't.
No.
Oh, gosh.
That's
we needed
not a
like
lot.
2 hours with a lot of these people, so no pressure at all, Jess. Again, we have the lovely Jess Bowman with Bowman Insurance Group here. So hi, Jess. How are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful. How are you guys?
We're great.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here.
I'm happy to be here.
And don't let that fool you. We're not just going to talk about insurance today.
No.
In fact, Jess,
insurance is can be boring.
She kind of
Jess was very
refused
emphatic about that. Yeah. Anyway,
she was like, "Well, insurance is boring. Let's talk about other things that we like to do in the Ozarks."
No, here's the right. Insurance is
awesome.
Oh, there we go. Crickets are always bad, I always say. So we won't focus on those.
Insurance is good though.
Insurance is very necessary in our day and
is.
age, whether you like it or not. You're always going to have insurance. And what are the
I
three
want to talk
things?
actuary tables now. Can we talk actuary
Tables. That was going to go really boring there
no.
too. Crickets.
No, thank
crickets.
you.
I'm not sure what actuary did. Whatever that is.
No.
But anyway, so
I'm the king of random knowledge. I'll just throw things out there and be like, "Hey, yeah, there's this."
And then I wish I had a cricket button myself. Is that on? Is anywhere on these? Okay.
All self-inflict. It's okay.
Good.
Just say crickets, David. Crickets. Okay.
Good. Keep that up. So we talk about the Ozarks and exploring everything about the Ozarks. And to me, we've had a lot of business people on here. So, just because we have a business that comes on the page doesn't mean that we're just going to sit and talk about boring old business, right?
Yeah.
So we're exploring the Ozarks. We're exploring the people who are maybe not from the Ozarks like yourself, and we want to know reasons why you're here, things like that. So number one, you are co-owner with your husband, Dustin, of Bowman Insurance Group. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do over there.
Okay. So we are a local business. Love to support other local businesses, husband and wife team. And we can help you with pretty much any insurance needs besides health insurance, which we have a great guy that we can send you to for that.
There you go.
Can you tell we're on the same networking group? Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. And Kit is awesome anyway.
Yes.
So shout
Hi,
out to
Kit.
Kit Scheckler. Yeah.
Yeah, he is awesome.
But anything else insurance related, we're here to help.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
And I should do a shout out because she does my insurance.
Yeah.
And
there
it
you
was
go.
good. I mean, it did
Yes.
cost a little more,
Yes.
but not too much though.
But better
and
coverage.
It was better coverage.
But we'll talk about that too, because
Exactly.
me being one of the vice presidents for Central Make Mortgage, I'm going to say that right, gives credibility to what I'm about to say. I have so many people that I talk to that say, "Oh, I've got XYZ insurance company I'm going to get a quote from," and I'm like, "Are you sure about that?" Because I noticed that, and I'm not going to hound on anyone in particular, but the ones that they consider the big five, which is getting bigger list. Typically what I find is that they're more expensive. Sometimes they throw on the most ridiculous type of insurance and you don't have a boat and all of a sudden you've got boat and trailer insurance on your quote. And I'm like, well, why is this so much higher?
Does anybody have gremlin insurance? That would be an interesting one.
Someone might.
That
I have to underwrite that.
Yeah.
But then, so I'm always like, okay, I've got someone for you to talk to. And I need you to call Jess Bowman immediately.
Yep.
One of the big reasons that most people don't know is talk about an early shopper discount and what that does for people. So they go under contract.
Yes. Go under contract on a house. We love working with home buyers. And we have a lot of options. We're a broker. So we'll quote you through a bunch of companies. Most of the companies that we work with, the earlier you get the quote, the better your rate's going to be. Usually, you'll get a discount. So if you wait until the very last minute, you probably won't get to take advantage of that discount.
Right.
And it's nice to just get it over with anyway and get
gosh.
it done. Yeah. And, it's like buying a house is stressful enough.
It is.
And so just get the insurance part done.
Right.
Get it done. Get your quotes. Figure out who you're going with. and
get it locked in.
done.
Yeah,
Then you don't
and
have to
send
worry
it to your
about it.
lender. Yeah.
Yeah, send it to your lender.
Well, because you've already got a
Yes.
long list of things you need to do in the first 10 days anyways due to regulations.
Yep.
So you might as well just do the insurance and get it over with
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah,
And
don't wait till last minute.
And since we work together so much, it's much faster and easier. I work with every insurance company in town anyways, but I like being able to see Jess's name come through on a quote, and I can go, okay, I know it's legitimized.
Yeah.
We've even had some people switch, midstream because we started looking at some of their quotes, and I'm like, yeah, I would definitely not go with the $800 quote because you have a $10,000 deductible.
Exactly.
But boy, that insurance does sound good for $800 a month, or
Exactly.
$800 a year.
Yes.
But sometimes the lowest isn't always the best, and so
Exactly.
I always try to preface that with some people. Some of the companies that I don't want to mention that are VA specific or VA friendly, we call it in the business, are most of my people are shocked that they've been with these companies for 20, 40 years or been handed down through the ranks with their family, and they've been paying $2,400 a year to $3,000 a year.
Yep.
And it's got a brand new roof and things like that. They have good credit, brand new roof, and all these things that can come into play that we'll explore a little bit more. But then I have them call Jess, and they're like, oh, I'm with her for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because now I just realize how much money I threw away in the last 20 years.
Well, and it's kind of sad because I feel like some companies prey on people's loyalty.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
And
Yeah.
I mean, being loyal is great. But some companies are preying on loyalty and, sneaking
Well, then they
in.
start taking it for granted too.
Well,
Yeah.
That was
know
my
you're-
experience with some of my insurance companies.
Yeah.
Was like I was with them for years, but it's like all of a sudden I'm being passed around to different agents and they're being moved around, and they're not really.
Yep.
It's
It's
tough.
like I don't. That's one reason I was excited to switch to you. Is like I want somebody with a personal touch.
Yeah.
I want to actually build a relationship with my insurance agent, so I can
Yeah.
actually. I text you random questions because
Yeah.
we're looking at buying a farm, and I was like, so what's insurance like for a farm, Jess? And here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have cows and goats and.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Eventually, right? Yeah.
Random question, but it was nice
that's-
to be able to just text you and be like, yeah, here's my question.
That's what's important about this situation is that you are local. You're not from here. But
That was a good segue.
it was a good segue.
love
That's what I was kind
That
of
was
thinking.
good.
Ding, ding, ding.
But I feel like I'm from here. 'Cause
Yes.
I have been here a long time.
Well,
So it
you
feels
don't
like
strike
home.
me as an East Coast girl. You strike me as a Midwest girl,
Okay.
right? Because you are
Is that
nice.
good?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
from the West Coast myself, so
okay.
I'm from California. So
And he's
East,
okay.
West.
Yeah.
he's all
Okay. So we're from all over. Yeah. He's kind of nice.
But
Thank you.
This
Thank
is
you.
what's really awesome about.
Oh my! It
That
scared
was
me.
loud. Sorry, that was
scared
loud.
me.
I meant to do that one anyway.
But that's what excites me about exploring the Ozarks is I'm sitting here with two people that aren't even from here, right?
But
And
we
I'm-
love the Ozarks.
I grew up here myself, and I love the Ozarks myself. But so let's talk a little bit about your journey from where did you grow up, and how did you eventually end up in the Ozarks?
Okay. I am from.
I need some sort of button for this. Wait,
There we go.
what's the past? What's the past?
Story
here?
time.
I feel more
It's
comfortable.
story
with
time.
It is story time. Okay, so grew up or born Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Amazing place
Cape
if you've
Cod.
never been.
Is that that's
haven't.
no?
Cape
Is it near
Cod.
Provincetown or is that?
Yeah, Provincetown is
yeah.
part of Cape Cod.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Cape
and that's
Cod
where we
is-
originally landed when we came over from America.
Yes.
Like the original Pilgrims
Yes.
landed around
And
there.
a
You're
Prov-
old, man. Wow, you landed there. Good.
Thank you. I
Provincetown
mean,
is a
I
fun
look
place
good.
to visit.
I bet.
It's wild there.
So are we talking Massachusetts-ish
Yes,
area?
Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And then Cape Cod, lived in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and then New York.
I feel like I have to ask this question.
Okay.
Though, 'cause,
Yeah,
I mean, we
go
usually
ahead.
focus on source from the Ozarks, but I want to hear a crazy story from when you were growing up
Oh,
on
man.
the East Coast, and
Oh,
especially near
geez.
Provincetown.
She's not in the mafia or
I
something.
mean, yeah,
Okay.
because you're right next to the ocean. I'm sure there, stuff with that or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever you were doing. See, now I'm just throwing things out there. That's enjoying.
Slow
this.
down.
Are you
I'm
guys,
slowing
are you
down.
guys familiar with Provincetown?
No,
Not really.
Okay. So
Here's my one connection.
I'm a Dixie kid.
okay.
So my one connection is there was this guy that did something called droning Provincetown.
Okay.
And that's actually one of the things that inspired one of the segments I do on here, where I take the drone out and I fly around. and do
Oh
things
gosh,
like that.
sorry.
That's okay.
So that's my connection with that. Like
That's
I've seen a
about
lot
it.
of the really cool shots from the drone.
Okay.
And it looks really cool, but that's about.
It's a very old town, I assume.
It's probably how do you put it? Very open-minded.
Okay.
okay.
Liberal, they call it around here.
No, I'm
very,
wondering
very,
what
very-
this actually
Okay,
means.
so
She's emphasizing very.
Yeah, no, I'm hearing
I will
this.
say probably the most openly gay
Right.
town
Sure.
I've ever
The
seen.
LGBTQ.
Yes,
Sure. Yeah.
very, very. And so, like growing up, it was openly gay
Yeah.
before
Before the whole
yeah. everything was openly
Sure.
gay.
Yeah.
And so I remember going there as a kid, and anything goes there.
Wow.
Anything goes.
Really?
And so as a kid,
Sounds like New Orleans
we
or
would,
something.
Yeah.
we would
Yeah.
go there. We would see drag queens. We would see, and as a kid,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially grow up in the 90s. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not used to
Before
it.
all
But
that.
it was fun.
I'm sure it was
It's
a blast.
fun.
Yeah.
It's very lively and no judgment
Yeah.
of anything.
I wouldn't have expected that on the East Coast.
No.
When you hear
it's
East Coast,
fun.
you're like stuffy old,
Yeah.
No,
centuries
not
old.
Provincetown.
Yeah.
And I've never heard this about Provincetown area, so this is
yeah.
neat. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I went there as a kid, and you see more rainbow flags there than I've ever seen anywhere. So, but it's a cool town.
Yeah,
It's really fun.
They know how to have
That's
fun though
cool.
too.
Yeah,
so,
they do. Yep, it's
Probably
a good
more
time.
fun than us. We're just boring people, I guess. Sometimes.
Yeah,
but
yeah, they
They do
like
have
to
a party.
party.
Yeah, they do.
They definitely like
I
to
love
party.
that though.
Yeah.
So
It's
did they
fun.
party? Did you? I was going to do a cool transition there, but
I was
lost
a
it.
kid,
So
so I did
anyway,
I was
not
gonna say
party.
you were a kid,
I
so
was gonna
there's no
say-
partying going on.
what I was going to say, and a fail at it was transitioning back to New York. Was like, so was it like in New York where you were like the same kind of exposure?
Where
there?
everybody's mad at each
Yeah.
other and stuff.
Okay, so like where I was, people think of New York and they think of New York City.
Very true.
That's all anyone thinks of.
Yeah.
I was more from upstate New York, which
Okay.
is
Oh,
very,
okay.
it's very similar to
It's
here.
beautiful there.
It is.
Yeah.
It's very
My brother-in-law's
pretty.
from there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And people think New York City, all of New York is not. I mean, all of New York there's a lot of rural New York, and it's really pretty and
Yeah.
green.
I
And,
blame movies
Mountains.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you see
Yeah.
New York, it's always New York City.
Always.
It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
let's
a
blow
very
up New York again.
Big state though. Yeah.
Yeah. But New York City is cool.
I know. I
It
would
is
love to
so
go
cool.
there.
I've
New York
never been
City
there,
at Christmas
so-
time is my
Amazing.
favorite place.
I would
Yeah.
like to go sometime.
fun.
Yeah.
It is really neat. Yeah, you need to go.
Yeah. So New York, upstate New York. What city are we talking about in upstate?
Poughkeepsie.
Poughkeepsie.
I actually know that name.
Yeah, it's been on
I
some
know the
movies.
name. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say
It is. It has been in some
Poughkeepsie.
some
movies.
comedies.
Poughkeepsie.
Isn't that
yeah.
Groundhog's Day? Don't they mention that quite a
Somewhere
bit?
Puxatawny, I think
Yeah.
is what that one is. Right?
Well, yeah, no, but he's
Several
like,
movies.
Yeah.
I think they said that we have to go to Poughkeepsie for something. It's
Yeah,
like-
I'm
I
thinking the
think
same
was
thing.
Poughkeepsie.
My brother, what about Bob? Maybe or something. I can't remember.
Oh, that
there's
may
been,
be,
There's been
yeah.
a couple movies where Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we're gonna do a whole entire episode now about Poughkeepsie at
We
some
could.
point.
So it's a small town though, from what I've gathered,
Not very
right?
big.
Is it right?
Not very big.
So
no.
lived
I mean,
there for a while,
Yep.
and then moved to.
And so I went to college there.
Okay.
Went to State University of New York, and
Okay.
then moved out here. Followed a guy
Mm-hmm.
out here.
Likely story.
Yes.
That's the way it goes. Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I'll go to Missouri. Yeah. Okay.
Where
would
is
have
this place?
never, ever thought I would end up in
From New
Missouri.
York City to Springfield.
Yeah, pause for a second. So you're going from the East Coast and New York, and it's New York, right? That's a big deal. And you're like, okay,
There's
so
all this history.
This guy was from Missouri,
Yes, from Missouri.
and he ended up at
was-
upstate New York too. Okay.
So yeah, he was in the military.
Oh, there we go.
Yes, so he was based
Gotcha.
there in
Fort Leonard Wood?
Fort
Well,
Leonard.
in New York.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I forget the name of the base.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was right near my college.
Okay.
So moved out here. That didn't last long, which is a good thing. Trust me.
But now she's like,
yes,
I'm
good thing.
stuck in Missouri
Blessing in
now.
disguise.
Yes, absolutely.
But by then, I had already been out here for a while, and I already kind of grew to love it.
Good.
And so then I stayed.
Good. So what made you love Missouri then? I mean, the topography is kind of the same as upstate New York from what I've heard. Never been there, but I've heard about rolling hills and mountains and waterfalls and all that. So what was it that first kind of triggered you with the Ozarks and Missouri in general?
Triggered you
Honestly,
In a good way.
in a good way.
the people.
Okay.
The people. So I remember shortly after I moved here, we were driving through a neighborhood and someone waved to us. And I was like, and I asked him, I was like, do you know that person? And he's like, no. And I'm like, he waved
You're
to
like,
you.
what do we do? What do
We
do?
had the same experience when we moved from Phoenix, Arizona.
I couldn't believe it. I'm
This
like,
huge
he just
city.
waved.
You're like, oh, and now it's just normal now
It's
to be
normal
like,
now.
That's
I waved
hilarious.
to
Now you guys
everyone.
are the ones waving. That's
Yeah. I wave to everyone now.
I did the other day. It's
I
like
wave at everyone
I just know when I'm going down a rural road, if I pass by like a truck or something, I better do at least the little thing off the
Yeah.
You have to, or else it's like an
totally
insult.
Yeah. I do it every day.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe how nice. Like, we went out to lunch. Do you guys remember it was a Mexican restaurant that's in the building that's in the mall parking lot? It used to be a Mexican restaurant right next to Nikado.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I do. I do remember that.
It was a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
And, we went there, and
That was like a big prom place, wasn't it?
Bourbon and Beals there now? Is that right?
It used to be a Mexican restaurant. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But we went there. That was the first place we went out to eat. And everyone was so friendly. And I was like, everyone is so nice here. And I still feel that way.
I love that.
And so that was like one of the reasons I liked it here is because it was
just because
so
people
friendly.
were waving and being friendly. I love hearing that.
Yeah. I mean, I loved that.
Yeah, because I have similar thoughts on my travels to different places, and there's another thing we'll talk about in a little bit that's pretty similar. But I feel the same way when I go other places, and I'm like, man, everybody here is so off-putting.
Right?
I think it's just because I'm used to.
I thought you were going to say friendly. I was like,
no,
oh, okay.
Not necessarily. I mean, we went to Chicago. October of last year. And I mean, there were some friendly people, but most people were very strange to me because they acted like you were there for just no reason.
Yep.
And like every time we asked for anything or our waiters or anything, it was like pulling teeth to get anybody to like say anything nice or, just be like, I remember we were having dinner and the girl that came up to us at the restaurant acted like we were there for another reason. And she's like, I'm like ordering a drink, and then she's like, "Are you guys gonna order food or anything?"
Like
and
you
I'm
had
like,
an ulterior motive.
"I'm at a restaurant. I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Maybe an appetizer too. I don't know."
Yeah.
It's just dawning on me now, though. Is like as I travel around, it's like I'm usually a very friendly guy. I'm like, wait, is that because I grew up in the Midwest?
I think it is. I think we rubbed off.
Or am
on
I just
y'all.
a naturally friendly guy? Or
And
maybe it's just the Midwestern thing.
And I just said y'all too, so that helps.
Oh, I say y'all all the time.
oh,
my
do
wife,
you?
my
I
wife
do
makes
too.
fun of me.
I say y'all.
Oh, you guys are fully converted now.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm so proud of you
it's
guys.
just
And I love
it's just more
country
efficient.
music.
I hate country music. I'm sorry.
What? Oh,
See,
I love it.
Now the problem is that I grew up on country music in Arizona,
Oh, that's not real.
and which made
That
sense.
seems weird.
Well, not really, because Arizona's cowboys.
Oh, that's
And
true.
desert,
That's true.
old west towns. I mean, it was very
like
very
that.
country.
I was thinking more like the Eagles or something, Winslow, Arizona. And all
Yeah.
that, right?
Oh yeah.
Reference.
I've been to all those places actually. When I lived in California, I lived near Barstow and all those places. So I would that's on the song and stuff. Barstow,
Yeah.
San Bernardino. Lived in San Bernardino for a while. So.
Yeah, and there's not much out there too, so it's kind of small towny. But
there was abandoned silver mines out there near Barstow. Anyway, we won't go into
amazing.
that one, yeah, no,
we're
it was
about
cool.
to nerd out here. Aren't we?
Yeah.
No, I will. There's a guy that's actually building a ghost town out there near Barstow. It was
Ooh.
Very cool.
Very interesting.
I might go check that out
That
while I'm
sounds
out there. I'm
cool.
supposed to go to Utah here in the next couple of weeks, so we'll see what happens. But they have like 5 feet of snow on the ground right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely go south.
Yeah.
Southern
That
California,
sucks.
Arizona.
Absolutely.
I don't want to go where there's a lot of snow.
Not right
No.
now, no. And it's tough because the beach is also kind of cold. So it's like, where do I go? In spring break. But
You'll stay inside.
Southern
probably.
tip of Texas
Pretty
or
much.
Cancun.
no matter where I go,
Cancun.
I ain't going to Mexico. But you just got back from there. So,
It was amazing.
your travels have brought you to the Midwest and you've stayed here.
Yeah.
We love that.
Well,
and it's because people are friendly.
Yeah.
What else, though?
I feel like there's another reason.
Yeah, there's got to be. Can't just be because people waved at you. You're like, I'm going to stay.
Cost of
Cost,
living.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting for the romance to start here.
Yeah. Oh,
Come on.
Oh, the
Romance.
The romance.
She loves Missouri.
Yes, I love my husband.
There we
Oh,
go.
is that what?
Shout out to
Okay,
Dustin.
here we go. Yeah, this is
So
what
when
it
did you?
constitutes.
Okay, so when did you actually meet Dustin and throughout all this whole process?
Okay, so we actually met. So I was working downtown Springfield at a bank.
Mm-hmm.
He used to own a bar downtown, Tonic Ultra Lounge.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I know Tonic.
That's back when downtown was like
Fun.
really fun.
And safe.
Yes, yes.
For the most part.
That's interesting. So it went through like phases, huh?
Oh,
it was a
yeah.
good time.
So I remember
This-
in the early 2000s when I was in high school. And
That was
college,
pretty
it's
much
like-
early 2000s, wasn't it? Whenever he owned that, or mid 2000s. But that was still when
Interesting.
I was, still just turned 21 or whatnot. So going out and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
Tonic is
okay.
where we usually always ended up at some
We
point.
did too.
So, yeah,
That was like the late night place.
Yeah, pretty much.
But what was crazy is like in New York, bars close at 4 a.m.
Oh, okay, I was going to say.
Here, bars close at 1 a.m.
Oh,
and
boy.
I was like, why are we going home so
What do
early?
we do? Especially coming from the college.
So you got to know the
age.
owner of the bar, and you
Yes.
just stick around
So-
for longer.
Oh.
okay, so
Drinks after 1.
There we go.
we used to hang out at Tonic all the time,
plan.
and I didn't even know Dustin yet. and then he would come into the bank. He just happened to bank there. And, I was like a personal banker, opened account. So I would sit in the lobby and I would see him come in all the time. I'm like, he's cute.
And he knows that bar I go to.
And then I guess, he had been checking me out too. And then we ended up being friends on Facebook.
You wanted more than a checking account.
Facebook.
Yeah, more than a checking account.
You're like, you need another one, right?
Yeah. Then,
you only have 4. I don't know why you keep opening these.
I don't know why. I'm just since I'm a filmmaker, I'm just seeing this whole entire story.
I was thinking that too. You
Like,
paint a good picture.
Yeah, this is good. We're gonna do this film now.
all of a sudden, he was coming in like 10 times a day to make deposits. I'm just kidding. I'm like, dang.
That's going in the movie. Yes.
I'm like, dang, he's making a lot of deposits. No.
To be the true to the trope of the romantic comedies, though, you'd have to think that he was going for somebody else. So like you'd have to have a co-worker and be like, oh, he must like her.
Yeah,
Yes.
not even thinking.
And then you'd find out late one night
It
at
was for me.
12:30 at night and be like, oh, he actually at the
was
bar.
for me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then we were friends
We've
on
already
Facebook.
written this.
Save it for Sato.
And
Sorry.
he asked me out on Facebook.
On Facebook. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
that was a new thing at that point.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, pretty much.
It wasn't the bad thing it is now.
Did they have
People message dates now. It's
Yeah.
like,
Did they have Messenger back then?
They did.
I don't know. Okay.
Really?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I
yeah.
still have our first messages ever
Whoa.
on my messenger.
That is
I think
cute.
I still have them.
Have you framed that yet?
Would he
I
print them
haven't.
off?
Just print it off. I mean, you see those maps where
Maybe
it's
a
like,
tattoo of the thread on your back. That'd be good. That'd be good.
Messenger.
I love it.
Maybe the Messenger logo.
Oh, that can be a new thing because you see the maps that show like the date and the map like where you did like the first date and like the marriage. and
Oh,
proposal.
I've seen
You could
that,
do that for like for if you're like whatever dating app you're on or like the messenger, you can be like first message,
Yeah. A little lightning bolt on your back.
first marriage message.
It's like a new anniversary. You have
There
to
we go.
celebrate it.
There we
So
go.
then you guys met through the bank, and the bank always frowns on that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You're not at the bank now.
I
So.
left the bank.
Yeah, good. We won't even
Yeah.
mention the bank.
Did
I
you
was like,
leave
I'm
the
done
bank
there.
for love?
I left the bank because
We don't need to know. I was just making another joke.
Because I
Yeah.
didn't want to work
Sorry,
there
no,
Didn't
let's-
want to work for a bank anymore.
I'm stopping that
And
one,
she's
yeah.
like, okay, so
But I
he-
did not say the name of the bank, so I'm
No,
not
it's
putting
okay.
them, I'm not dogging
You're
them at all.
fine. And banking is monotonous, so that's I get it. Trust
Yeah.
me.
It was too boring for me.
It can be, yeah.
I
Luckily,
just want to make a joke here, but I'm going to avert that.
luckily the mortgage side is just kind of nonstop all the time. So
It's more fun.
it is more fun.
Yeah.
So how long did you guys date before he shut down Tonic to open up a insurance brokerage?
I honestly don't remember how long it was, but he was just burnt out on being a bar
Oh my
owner.
gosh.
Yeah,
is
no.
a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
The constant employee turnover. No one takes their job seriously. He would have to go over there at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 in the morning, and it was just like, okay, I'm too old for this. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
No way.
And he had been a business owner. He owned storage units. He owned, just a lot of businesses.
Right.
And then he was presented with the opportunity to start an insurance agency. He did, and then I came over, and that was.
Very good. And you guys were with one of those
Tale as
big
old as
fives.
time.
Well, you guys, it's kind of a cool transition for what you're doing now because you kind of got to the point where you just weren't having it anymore as far as, the rates and the fees and everything else, which I commend that because you want the best for your clients.
Yep.
It also makes it very difficult for you to sell new clients when pricing is so high. So you were with one of those big five we're not going to mention.
Yep.
So did everything I just described, did that nail it on the head as to why you guys wanted to move on? Because I know a lot of insurance people are like that. So tell us about the transition of why.
Yeah. We just felt like we got to the point where we couldn't grow our business, and I wasn't happy just staying where we were. And I wanted to keep growing and, having new opportunities and being able to help more people.
There you go.
And our hands were tied. There was only so much we could do. And I was like, nope, I'm not
Which
liking this anymore.
must be frustrating for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I mean, because both you, your husband having done several jobs, and you
Yep.
obviously are an entrepreneur as well. It's like anytime you tell an entrepreneur you can't do something,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I'm going
I
to
need
find a way around
opportunity.
it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
when
Yeah, I
you
need
are a good
opportunity.
business owner, you realize that you've got to, when you want to truly help people, because that's the big difference between you and a lot of insurance people, not saying anybody in particular doesn't, but you've got to have a heart for people, number one, because there are tragedies that happen along the way, and you're the insurance person. It's usually one of the first phone calls that you get is after someone dies, car
Fire.
wrecks, fires. I mean, around here, hail. We could talk about the insurance claims process all day long. But that's where you guys really shine. You know, I've noticed that some of my clients that have had issues, and luckily not very many, I mean, maybe one, they were able to get a hold of you very quickly, and you guys took care of it very quickly, and they were very happy when it was all said and done. And then the other part about that is their rates went down right after a roof claim. You know, it was a big deal. Had a roof claim, and then all of a sudden now you go back to them and say, well, we know you had, we got a new roof. We know you have a claim on it, but it did bring down your insurance tremendously every year. So you almost saved them a couple $100 a month just by doing that. It's almost like refinancing a house.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and, you know, people are like, oh, if I file a claim and I'm going to get canceled. And no, I mean, most of the time, no.
Right.
And worst case scenario, you know, being a broker, that's what's nice about it is for some reason, if you did get if you were going to get canceled, we have other options.
I didn't even think about that part, actually. So that's huge. So what's your why? What do you do insurance for? You know, I mean, what's the reasoning to continue doing insurance?
My why for everything is my kids.
Yes.
And my family.
Love that.
I mean, that's why I do everything. Right. You know, just to be able to do the things that they want to do and, you know, have control over our hours. Right. I mean, I get to go, either Dustin or I gets to go pick up the kids at school every day. And that's huge to me.
It is. Nice.
You know, I don't want to keep my kids at school until 6 o'clock at night. And, you know, like, you know, and the aftercare. And,
a lot of people do.
And I know, and I feel for people because, you know, I want to have control over how much time I get to spend with them, you know, providing for them. Right. And so, that's my why for everything.
What's the best part of your job?
Having flexibility, I would say.
That whole part of that. Flexibility
and just getting to know people. Like we have, I feel like so many of our clients, we know them. And we're friends on Facebook. We're friends. We get together outside of
do
work
podcasts together.
Yeah. Like, and I love that.
That is the best part.
So talking to so many people who are moving here. You know, we talk to so many people who are moving here from out of state and finding out their reasons for moving here.
That's the coolest.
Well, I feel like I should ask you at this point too, since you moved from the East Coast to Midwest. I mean, what do you see different, and what do you tell people that move from out of state? Like, what do you? I shouldn't say warn, but what do you let them know? It's like, hey, this is the difference of being in the Ozarks.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know really like. Warn them about anything bad.
People wave.
Yeah, people are friendly.
You maybe
here.
freaked out a little bit.
Yeah, people are friendly. There's lots of restaurants.
Lots of good food. Lots of good things to do, too. I mean, you know, I talk to people that are from all over the United States as well. And when I mention something, and that's honestly why we kind of started talking about starting this show, was because I talked to so many people from the East Coast, the West Coast, and maybe they've already lived here for a couple of years. And I have one that calls me all the time, and he's an outdoors guy, and he's like, tell me more about this one spot. Like, I want to go check it out, but I want to be forewarned about what could happen out there. And one of the biggest things that I love about my job is being able to be that resource for people and say, hey, you know, if you live close to Hollister, here's some cool stuff to go do. Some people don't even know Branson's there or Silver Dollar City's there and stuff like that, which if that's what you want to do, that's great. If you have kids, absolutely. But it's also fun to just go down to Branson and check things out anyways at the landing or whatnot.
We love it.
And one guy I have that moved from out of state, he doesn't have that many friends here, and he's always calling me, asking me about certain places to go. He's like, do you think I can get some friends there and stuff? And I'm like, but I don't know what to tell you. You know, you got to be out of your shell a little bit too. Because people in the Midwest do like to talk.
Yep.
So that is one thing that you can't ever hardly say bye. I think there's a joke about that.
There is. It's the Midwestern goodbye.
Goodbye.
It's like a chart that you see that has like 10 different. You know, the first goodbye, talk at the door, talk at the car door, talk at the driveway.
Like that, though.
Talk on the way out the street and everything else.
It's like that.
You wave, then you come back in because you forgot to get something.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'll have another beer and hang out.
And we all know this is true.
It
is true because I've been victim of that many times.
It is.
Living here my whole life.
Yep.
But so, you know, the other things that you're passionate about that we talked about earlier, and this is kind of where I was going to head earlier with, you know, travels. You know, we talked about some of this stuff like our River Access Coalition we had on here that they do river cleanups and stuff like that. But, you know, one of the biggest passions you have is helping with some, I mean, last year you talked about a trash pickup that was organized in Rogersville. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So the trash drives me nuts. And it is, I just want everything to be clean and pretty. And my thing is, if we have so many people coming here from out of state, you don't want it to look like we don't take pride in our community. That's my biggest thing, is if I had never been to the Ozarks before and I drove into the Ozarks and saw trash on the sides of the roads, I would feel like people don't respect their community.
It distorts the view of it, too, because you think about this stuff when you're planning a trip and you're like, oh, my God, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, Arkansas, the natural state's just right below us.
Yep.
So you kind of have this expectation of cleanliness.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way.
Yep.
And so keep on going with
You don't
what
want it to
happened
be
out
a
in
disappointment.
Rogersville. Yeah, because there needs to be more of what you're about to talk about.
Yeah. And I think it was during COVID, and, there's a Rogersville Facebook page. And someone, a Rogersville local that lives there, he organized an entire trash cleanup, and it was amazing.
Wow.
We all met at the Come and Go in Rogersville, and I don't know how many people showed up, but a lot. And the amount of trash that we got picked up was amazing.
And that was probably just a small stretch of area. Just on 160. Is that right?
Yep. Not a big area at all. There were kids there.
Yeah. What's the nice thing about the Ozarks is if you organize something, you usually get a lot of people that help out.
Oh, my gosh.
They just need to know where to be and what to do. I mean, that's my experience growing
It
up
is
here
nice.
is we would always have these big projects. There's multiple, like, you get tornadoes out here.
Yeah.
So there's multiple times where I'd go out with a crew of a couple hundred people to go clean up after tornado or an ice storm or whatever.
That's probably one of the coolest things I've ever
It
seen
is.
was like after Joplin and stuff, how many people flooded that area
Thousands,
just to go help, right?
Yeah.
A lot of tetanus shots handed out during that experience. But,
Yeah, right.
I believe that.
we talk about our rivers and stuff, the James River Water Basin Partnership. They do a huge cleanup every year on the James River, and it's been amazing to see the transition from when I was a kid, and you're out floating, and you're seeing cars. I mean, you can't really pick those out of there, but those cars collect all sorts of other things and tires and all this other stuff.
Louise.
And I remember doing it a couple of years back, and my brother and sister-in-law do it every single year. But to see the transition from when I was a kid to now, it's an amazing transition. There's still some trash. Let's just face it, people are trashy no matter where you go.
Yep. Unfortunate.
I live on 65 Highway down in Highlandville, and inevitably there's someone once a week that drops their Taco Bell trash or the McDonald's trash just out on the road, and I'm like,
so annoying.
you couldn't hold on to that for another couple miles till you got to a gas station or something. But it's a beautiful thing to see people that are wanting to organize this type of thing. I hope that keeps going. Yep. There's other reasons why we love Missouri, but every time I travel, I think the same thing, because as soon as I leave Missouri, I'm like, oh, wow. And I pay attention to it. I'm hypersensitive to it.
I do too.
When I go to other places, I'm like, man, they do a good job here.
Yeah.
But it's because they see those signs that say $10,000 fine. And here's the
It's
number
enforced.
to call to turn someone in.
Yep, it's enforced.
I wish
it's not
they would
enforced
do it.
around here.
I wish they would do it more here.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a priority.
No. We have
it
Adopt a
needs to be-
Highway, but I don't think it's working very well.
No. And another big thing is the trash trucks. I think, the trash trucks, if you put your trash into your trash can loose, then the trash truck, takes your trash.
Tips from Jess. I like
can
this.
Fly out.
No, I see it.
Just
bag
bag
up
it.
your trash.
I see it all the time.
To me, that's like common sense. It's like, just bag it. But
well, you would think, but
it's
people
not.
are willing to
Some people
drop it
don't
out their
have common sense.
window. They're not going to be worried about a trash bag. They're saving trash bags because they're frugal, they think.
Yeah.
Even construction debris, though. I see a lot of construction dumpsters and things like that as they're rolling down the highway, and they've got the screens that go over them, but they don't cover the last 2 feet of either side.
Oh, gosh.
And so you just see I can spot it all the time. That's from a construction site.
I know.
I'm like, we've got to do better.
I know.
Or hold someone accountable from a trash service, which you can't because they're already doing you a service, right? So it's up to us. And I see all these Adopt a Highway signs. I've literally been this close to calling so many of those and be like, can you come pick this up for once?
Your highway?
I know you're supposed to do it every once in a while, but can you go a little further, maybe?
Once a month.
And I know they're cleaning up 65 right now, but I think it gets a little more attention because of the fact that Branson's right there.
Yeah.
That's our big draw, so the road is always nice. And it's a lot of traffic, so they do tend to clean up quite a bit. But I know every time I pull up onto the highway to drop my kids off at school, I've got to cross the highway. And I look down, and it's just, every single foot, there's something. And it drives me absolutely crazy.
Well, Matt, I think it's time for us to explore the Ozarks, adopt a road.
Hey.
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh, that's our duty now, isn't it?
It kind of is. I mean, I was going to be like, I should talk about it with them after the show, but now we've talked about it so much. It's
you
like
put it on camera too. Nice work.
But how would you even?
I
pick
edit this, though.
Where
Anyway.
at? How would you even?
You
pick
just got to find
where?
out which ones are available, really.
Yeah.
And
And there's several that you see that say open to adopt.
yeah,
Or,
and I would love that. And I know one of my friends lives, Callie Linville. Shout out to Callie because she's a hard-working lady. She lives in Highlandville too, but she's on EE Highway, which is pretty heavily traveled for people that go to the lake.
Yeah.
And it's just a mess sometimes. And she has that stretch that they, as her husband's a builder, Linville Construction, by the way. And she literally busts her butt all the time to go out there and pick up as many times as she can.
Yeah.
She wants to make it worth her while, of course. But one of the biggest things that she always jokes about is the little airplane shooters that have, whiskey shooters and stuff. And I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, and alcohol. So we live out in the country, and I will take the kids out. We'll take a bunch of trash bags, gloves, everything, and we'll go out on the side by side.
Very good.
And we'll just go down our roads and clean up trash. And it is unbelievable the amount of alcohol, the amount of beer cans. I'm like, people are driving around drinking.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm an insurance agent, so that's very bad. But yeah, it's mostly alcohol, fast food.
Yeah. That's a majority of it,
That's
I think.
Yeah.
There was one guy, so the Pensmore Castle is down my road, if anybody knows what that is.
Yep.
And we will talk about that at one point.
We will, yeah.
There was a guy that while they were building that place, and I'm not sure what facet he was in of building this, but every single day he would drive down the road, and by the time he left the castle to the time he got to our house, which is just right before 65 Highway, he would drink a pint of vodka and a Diet Dr. Pepper can,
gosh.
and he would throw it out in the ditch in the same place almost every day. And I finally got, I got so tired of it that I won't tell the story because I don't want it coming back on me. But I did go pick it up and I delivered it somewhere. And
just so you know, we have like a couple minutes.
Yeah,
left.
you're fine. And so that spurred me to also go down my road because it's a beautiful road. It's got a creek and everything too, and I want to try to protect that. But our creek is just full of trash. It's almost impossible.
Horrible.
So I think that with your help, now we have to adopt a highway.
I was going to say we should throw this out to the viewers and be like, "Hey, do you know any place that we should adopt?"
Yeah.
And, and it's not just Matt, me, and Jess to go out and do this. We would like to have our followers. Well, we'd like to have people that like exploring the Ozarks to maybe join us.
I think that would be, now that we've talked about organizing something like that with this gentleman in Rogersville, see what he did has now spurred this to be something that maybe a few hundred people could come to.
That would be amazing.
I know a great stretch that I hope I can get that's near my house because it is probably one of the worst spots I've seen.
You got a truck, you got trailers.
I pay attention to all that stuff.
We'll get the bags.
And if you organize your own trash pickup, you can get the yellow trash bags that say no more trash or whatever.
Do they do the vests?
They'll give those to you.
Very cool.
Yeah, they'll give you. So they'll give you all the bags. They'll give you the vests to use. They'll give you the picker uppers, and then.
Because I don't want to touch with my hands.
No, you don't want no. You need the picker uppers.
They make gloves too, Dave.
Good.
And then you fill those bags and you leave them at certain spots, and you can call them, and then they'll come pick them up.
Right. Oh,
so
that makes it a lot
They
easier.
did that for the Rogersville one. So they'll supply all the stuff.
And one thing I did find out too, and before we go, and this is something that might be just a good tip for the day, is I got a relationship developed with a guy at MoDOT that is in that department because people come and randomly drop off the most random things. Last time there were 3 mattresses that got dropped off in my front yard, basically.
Oh my god!
And I called them and I'm like, dude, first of all, I don't want to touch these. I was like, I can burn. I've got a burn pile. I can totally throw them on the burn pile, but I don't want that either. So I don't want to give out his name or anything like that, but I did ask a few questions that might be key for this because I said, hey, can I just pick these up and can I come take them to your MoDOT and drop them off? He said, please don't do that. They don't want people doing that. They want you to call them and say, hey, there's a large item that I cannot physically do myself. At least put it on your list to come get it, and they'll come get it within, a couple weeks typically. Luckily, I was nice to the guy, helped him out with the loan, and so they came and picked it up like within 3 days. So that was
cool.
I was very excited about that.
I'm just happy that they actually come and do it, though.
And that was a big eye-opener for me because you start thinking about all this trash, and you're like, why doesn't somebody do something about it? And they are. there's just not that many of them.
Well, and as
And
we
COVID,
discussed,
it's such a big
well,
problem.
COVID almost stopped them entirely because
Yeah.
they couldn't let the inmates come out
I
and
know.
start helping then.
I called about it
And
one
there's
time.
only a few people that are on MoDOT that
Yeah.
they have in that program that they
Yep.
try to keep up, and I see them out there all the time picking stuff up.
Well,
and
as we
it's
discussed
a very
before,
dangerous job too.
It is.
there's plenty of people that want to help out with this kind of stuff.
Right.
As long as you organize it, and you can get people out there helping.
Well, look what
Yeah.
we just did, Jess.
Yay.
See, this is why we had you on the
love
show
it.
today.
I love it.
Thank you for coming on. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
talking about your insurance. And where can everybody find you with BIG?
Okay, Bowman Insurance Group. Look us up on Facebook. BigMissouri.com is our website. Phone number 417-895-9511.
All right.
Whoever's editing this, put the numbers on the screen.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we are always available. Even if you just have insurance questions, we're happy to help.
Well, and I had Jess actually teach a class at my networking group on follow-up because her follow-up
Yes.
game is tremendous.
Yeah.
Anytime I hand a lead to her or have someone call her, I know I'm going to get contacted back and know what's going on. So the communication is huge for what you do. And thank you for doing what you do for my clients.
Yeah,
and thank you
thank
for doing what
you.
you do for David.
Yeah.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Because he's going to be buying a house soon and he's going to need insurance and
Need
all
different
that.
insurance.
Yes,
Yeah,
maybe
so-
farm.
Yeah,
Maybe
well,
farm.
Maybe a farm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely going to be a farm. It's just
Yeah.
what's going to be on it. Cows,
Oh, man.
Yeah.
goats, chickens. I actually had a friend, and
can
we
see
can end
it.
with this.
Yeah.
She just got baby goats on her farm.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Here
they're
we
Little
go.
so
tiny fuzzy
cute.
baby goats. I was like, or baby donkeys. It was
Oh,
one. It was one of the
geez.
miniature
Both of them are
ones.
cute.
I know, it was super.
She's
cute.
like, please get
Yes.
those so I can come see them after
I made the
insure
mistake of
them.
tagging my wife in that one. I think
Oh,
she's
now
going to
she
want
wants
them now.
Oh,
them.
I
geez.
think.
No,
But
you
they're
don't
cute
do
enough.
that.
I might be okay with that.
Yeah.
Hey,
They are
goats are
so
cool. They
cute.
keep the grass down too.
Yeah.
But no, Jess, thank you so very
Thank
much.
you.
I
Yeah.
think what you spurred today is probably going to go a little further than just this table.
That'd be amazing.
That is amazing in itself. So just talking about why you love Missouri. It's why we started this show,
Yeah.
and we're so happy that you settled here.
Yeah.
You've made your family here, and everything's very good for your family here in this Midwest town you live in,
Yes.
called Rogersville.
Yes.
So thank you so much, and then let's keep in touch with you, and let's keep following you. Ultimately, keep exploring the Ozarks.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks again for listening to Exploring the Ozarks. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our social media channels to help us keep exploring the stories of the Ozarks. If you're looking for more ways to support our show, we have sponsorships for businesses and Patreon for individual supporters. Check the links in the description for more details. Thanks for your support, and keep exploring the Ozarks.